Hello my people of the internet. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to design this web UI using Figma. Also I'll share some powerful tips and some hover effects so you can add some hover effects to your buttons in your animations. So don't go anywhere, keep watching this video to the end. Thank you. Welcome. As I mentioned earlier, you're going to learn a lot from this video, so make sure you watch to the end of this video to get all the professional tips I'm going to be giving out in this video. I'm pretty excited to start designing, and I guess you too, you're excited to start designing as well. But before we start designing, do me a favor. If you're new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell somewhere down this video. This will enable me to create more wonderful videos on the internet. Now, let's get started. I have an empty Figma file. I'll give this file a name called Foot Game. That should be the name of this website. Next, I will select the frame tool, and then under the desktop tab, I will select MacBook Pro. This should be the frame we'll be designing for. Now, I need some images for my website design. I use unsplash.com because it is a platform where I get free high quality images for my design. So let's go to unsplash.com and I will search for football. I'll carefully go through the images here on Unsplash to select the one I want to use. I think this is the very one I want to use, so I'll click on it. You can as well click download immediately to get the image, or you can click on the drop down to select the kind of file size you want to download. But for me, I'll just click on the download link and it will now download. Next, I want to cut out the background of the image I have downloaded. You can use Photoshop, CorelDRAW, or even Figma. I did a video on how to remove background with Figma. I left the link on the description. You can go watch it out after this video. But for this video, I'm going to use an online tool called remove.bg. I got to know about this tool from a friend called Aze. Let's then head on to remove. So what I will simply do is to upload the image on remove.bg. And this is the image I've downloaded. And once you upload the picture or the image on remove.bg, it will automatically remove the background for you and leave the image for you. So it works like magic. So while we wait for it to upload, and it has uploaded, and that is it. We have our image background removed automatically. So this tool is actually free. You can go ahead to use the free version where you can download low resolution, but if you need a very high resolution, then you need to pay for this service. So I'll go ahead and download. So now let's import the image into our Figma file which we are designing. So the next thing I will do is to go to my downloads where I've downloaded the image and drag it into my Figma project. So once I've dragged it into my Figma project, if we are looking at the initial design we have now, you can see the football. So I'll quickly download the football from unsplash.com and also remove the background of the football using remove.bg. So let me quickly do that right away. So now we have our images. We need a background color for our website. One great tip I do tell people is use two primary colors. You might decide to use green and yellow or any kind of color you want to use, but be specific, use two primary colors for your design. Then you can go ahead to use black and white, which are universal colors. One more tip is, since we're using images for our design, we'll go ahead and select the color from our images rather than having images and with different colors and our background with different colors. It makes us have a lot of colors. Remember what I said is use two primary colors, so our image colors will match with our background color, and that's a great tip you're taking away from this video. So before I add my background color, I would like to add a layer grid. Layer grid helps me to align my content on my canvas very well. So on this layer grid, I'm going to select columns, and usually websites are usually designed with 12 columns. Then I'll add a margin of 60%. Then this is what I should get after adding my grid line. You can turn off the grid line by clicking on this eye tool and also clicking it also to show it. So what I will do now is to drag this image close to this point, and I think this point is fine. And I'm going to reduce this ball size and drag it to the leg of this guy and reduce it again and drag it to this point. Okay, this is fine. So I can turn off the grid line by clicking on the frame and click on the eye tool. I've turned off the green line. So I need a background color for this frame. So what I will do is I'll select, I need two background color, as you can see in the image here. I can select my rectangle tool and have something like this for the first color, and this is in front, so I'll drag it down below here to go to the back. And now the color, remember what I said, select color from the image. So I will zoom this carefully and I will select this, my color tool, and click on the pen tool, and maybe let's say take the color from the socks, and that's the color we have here. Next, I can as well select a rectangular tool and still fill up this part, but there's no need doing that. I can simply select the frame and click on the fill tool also. Then I'll select the color from the dress also. So, and there's a badge color here that looks like green, so I'm going to select that green color, and we have something like this. This is great. We have a great background that will match with our picture and the background. So guys, now I'm going to add some text and some call to action buttons to our website. To add text, you can simply click on the text tool and then click on your canvas. Then you can make some configuration settings of your text. I like using Pompeii because I like the font arrangement, and we can choose to use semi-bold, and we can choose to make this 24, or let's make it 36. Then the content of this text, let's say the content is get football updates, and this text looks a little bit smaller, so I can increase it. Let's make it 48. So we'll select all and make it 48. It's look bigger now, and let's make it bold, and let's change the color from black to white, and let's increase the line spacing with the text spacing, sorry, and let's make it 6.5. That's the text spacing, and this is okay. We can drag this to this point. Next thing I want to do is to add a little description that tells more about the website. So we can also use the text tool and also do something like this to this point, and this is okay. In my previous videos, I've shown how to use plugins, and in this video I'm going to show you also how to use plugins in Figma. So to use a plugin, you can just right click and go to plugins and go to manage plugins, then you install the plugins. But I'm not going to do that in this video. You can watch my previous videos to see how to use plugins in Figma. So what I'm going to do now is, as I've drawn the text to the level I want, so I'll do the configurations for this text, and I want the text to be, let's say 24, not too much, 24, and I want let's say the content of the text. So I'm going to use a tool called a plugin called Lauren brings some dummy text. So I'll just click on auto generate and it generates dummy text for me. So I'm going to make this not bold, I'm making it regular, and I'm going to change the color. And this time around I'm going to use a ash color with the color code E7. I'll hit on enter, and that's the color for it. I can increase the line height by clicking and dragging this, and that's the text for this design. How does it look? It looks great, right? Let me know let me know on the comment section what you think about the design so far. So next is to add a call to action button. I can click on the rectangular tool and draw some button this way, and I'm going to give this button a color, and from my document colors, these are the colors I've used so far. So I'm going to select this particular color, and I'm going to set the corner radius to 100% to give me this nice curve. Then I'm going to add a text, the description of a text, maybe to do something. And the text for this button, I'll just click and drag this, and I'll make the text property to be 22, and still using pop here, but this time around I'm making it semi-bold. Sorry, select the text. I will have to do that again, and I'm selecting semi-bold, and I'm making it align middle, and I'm making it align center, and the content of the text should be black. And let me say, for now we're going to say download app. That should be the content. So if you look, I'm going to align this to match with the button, and I think this is smaller, so you can use 24 is nice. So I can add some lines, letter spacing, and this is fine. So I'm going to select the rectangle and the text and use my Command G or Control G on Windows. Then I'll rename this to be called button. So then I can use my Command D or Command G to duplicate. Then I duplicate this way. Then this other text, I'm going to change the color. I'm going to change the background color to be white, and I'll change the text color this time around to be green. And this is looking good already. So what next? Next thing I need to do now is to add a scroll down button, maybe if you have other pages. So what I'll do is I'll select a rectangle tool and do something like this, and make the corner radius to be 100%. Then I'm going to make this not to have any fill, so I'll click on the minus, and I'll add a stroke, and I'll make the stroke 2 and make the color of the stroke to be white. Then I can add a circle in this scroll button. Can add a circle in between and make the circle to be 10 by 10 width and height. Then change the color to be white, and I'll align it properly here. So this is great. And next thing is to talk about the logo and the navigation bar. So guys, now the next thing we are going to do is to design the logo. But you can use any software of your choice to design your logo. You can use CorelDRAW, you can use Photoshop, you can as well use Figma. I also did a video on how to use Figma to create logo. I'll drop the link in the description of this video so you can go and watch and learn how to create logos using Figma. But in this video I'm going to straight up use a plugin. So what I'll do is right click and go to my plugins. I've installed a plugin called Font Awesome Icons. This gives me all the icons of Font Awesome. So I'm going to practically search for ball, and I'm getting this basketball. And when I click on the vector, which is the basketball, I can increase the size of this. So I'll simply drag this basketball into my MacBook, and I'll reduce the size of this basketball to, let's say, 40. So to reduce this, I want to reduce the height. While I'm reducing the height, the width should reduce proportional to the height. So I'll click on the constraint proportion and set this to be 40. That way the width and the height will reduce automatically without distorting the shape of the vector. So now if I click on this my Mac frame and click on the grid, so I can see where to align this logo. So I'll take this logo straight to this line, and I'll change the, should I change the color? No. I'll use black. The next thing I will need to do is to add a text description of what the logo is all about, or what this website is all about. Remember, we started it with a food game name, which is the name of the project. Then I would want it to start from this point. Next thing I will need to do is to configure what the size of the font should be. So I'll set this to be let's say 36, and I'll set the letter spacing to be 8, and let's say set it to semi-bold, and that's fine, and I'll drag it to this point. So that's fine. I can remove the grid line, so we can see what we have. Another thing is I can increase this a little bit and increase the image a little bit, and do some adjustments this way, and also increase this a little bit. So we have something like this, and I would kind of shift I'll shift this way, so making some little adjustments. Okay, that's fine. That's fine for now. I think I can go with this okay for me. So, and next thing is the navigation bar. So you can have different navigation bar to different links. So I can select the text, and I'll set the first navigation bar to be news, and I'll change the color of the text, and also do other settings like change it to medium and change the size to be 24, and so I change it. Okay, change the color to white, and that's okay for now. I can drag it to this point, reduce it more to 24. Okay, so I need to zoom this a little bit so you can see what we have. So I can now duplicate this, holding my alternate and drag. I can duplicate this. I can rename this to be live scores, and also I can duplicate also to be lakes and cups. Then I can also duplicate this to, excuse me, yeah, I can also duplicate this to themes. So one also great tool in designing with Figma is aligning content on your design. So to align content properly on this design, you can actually align those content using the alignment tools at the top here. So I can simply select the logo and this navigation and click on align vertically center. So all of them are vertically aligned center. Then I need the spacing between these navigation bars to be the same. You can see the spacing between news and live score is different between the spacing between live scores and league cups. So what I will do is to click on this and select distribute horizontal spacing. That will give them the same spacing. So I think our design is pretty much similar to what we have here. So one other thing is I can go ahead to add this design here, brings more life to our design. So what I'll do is select this circle and I'll make it let's say 300 by 300, and I'll make the color to be green, and what next do I need to do? I'll need to reduce the opacity from 100 to 40%, and I'll drag it down to this point, and this is great. And you can see it, the image of the player is at the back of this, so you can send this to the back. We can send that to the back by dragging it down. Make sure it goes down. Okay, fine. So next thing, I have some design which we can add more life to this, and that design, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a line. So you can go ahead and add so many designs you want to do. So I'm adding a line, then I'll click on the edit object, then I'll click on the drawing tool, which is the pen tool. Then I can add more points to this. Then once I'm done adding these points, several points, I can select the curve tool and maybe drag this down and drag this up and drag this down and also drag this up. So when I'm done, I click done, and I'm going to give this a color of white, and that's fine. And I'll reduce the opacity of this white. I'll make it maybe 40 is okay, and I can duplicate this, can make several duplicates, and I can select each and every one of them, and select each and every one of them and use my alignment tool to align them equally. Then I can use my Command G to group. So this looks great. I can reduce this and reduce it a little bit. So as I can also reduce the opacity down to 30. Okay, looks more faint. That's great. So next thing I will do is to duplicate it maybe down here, and this is fine. This is great. If you have watched so far to this point, you have learned a lot in this video. So then we'll dive into doing our animations on our button. So if you think this is a great design and if you think you've learned a lot, drop a comment, drop a like. This will encourage me to do more, and let's head on to our animation. So guys, the goal for the animation is when I hover on this button, it should change the color to white, and when I hover on this other button, it should change the color back to gray. So we can achieve this in Figma prototype. So to do that, just click on Figma prototype and select the button. But before we do that, we need to duplicate this. So I've duplicated it in 3 places. So the idea is once I hover on this button, it should change its color. So I can click on it and select interaction to be while hover. So while hovering on it, something should happen. So what should happen, it should swap. It should swap with layout frame 2, which is this. So it should swap from this to this. It should swap these 2 frames once I hover on this button. Now the trick here is to change this particular one, change the design by changing the color from gray to white and changing the text color to be green. That way once we hover on it, it swaps to this other frame and looks as if the button has changed to white. So we can run a prototype of this to see how it looks like. So I'm going to set this to scale down to width in, and let's see what happens. So on this, on the prototype, we're saying while hovering, swap to frame 2 and swap with instant. So we are on frame 1. So once I hover on frame 1, you see that effect of changing color. So it's working fine, super easy, and that's the trick. Then to do that for the next button, we'll select interaction to be while hovering, and it should swap with the third one. And the third one now, it's going to have this color of the gray. So I'm going to change this to gray, and I'll change the text color to be white. That way it will look as if we're swapping. So once I swap on this, it turns to gray. Once I swap on this, it turns to white. And that is it. So thank you for watching this wonderful tutorial. I hope you learned a lot from this tutorial. If you do, give it a like and drop a comment in the comment section so that I will know that you really enjoyed this tutorial. And don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed. Please subscribe to this channel. Please and please and please subscribe to this channel. This will help me to create more videos and more tutorials on this channel. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.